I would like to speak to you about the $150,000 QuickBooks Capital Business Loan. Minimum FICO 525, guaranteed approval 6 to 18 months. That's the maturity of the loan. No personal guarantee. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you had to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's discussion, I want to talk to you about the $150,000 QuickBooks Capital Business Loan and the FICO minimum FICO 525 guaranteed approval, 6 to 18 months loan maturity, no personal guarantee. Let me first say this, folks. This video is purely educational and informational. We have no affiliation, no relationship with QuickBooks or QuickBooks Capital. They have not paid us to do this video. So let's talk about, let me give you an overview. So with QuickBooks Capital, you get business funding when it matters, instantaneously, okay? Applying will not affect your credit score in any way, business credit or personal credit. You can do a lot of stuff that you want with the money. QuickBooks is not really putting strictures or restrictions around how you can use the cash. Not a problem there. You can use the money the way you want. Loan amounts oscillate from $5,000 to $150,000 with terms ranging from 6 to 18 months. Okay, there are no origination fees, no prepayment penalties, no hidden charges. And we love the fact that you are actually working with a player that everybody knows, a player with whom you probably have established trust already. The only caveat is that you need to be a QuickBooks user, because you're getting the offer, you're getting the pre-qualification offer, or you're getting the application link from your dashboard. You can't apply just by going to QuickBooks.com and just apply from there. No, you got to apply from your user account, okay? And you get credit for what's in your books. The thing here is that QuickBooks has an insider information. Literally, they have an insider information about your business and your potential in terms of sales, in terms of financial statements. So they are in a very best position to underwrite this business loan. Okay, it only takes 2 to 3 minutes to apply. And if you are, to know if you are eligible or not, you have to have one of 3 or 4 QuickBooks eligible QuickBooks products. So you got to have at least the QuickBooks Online. You can see on the screen, self-employed, Simple Start, Essentials, Plain, or Advanced, or the QuickBooks Desktop. You can see here you have the Pro Plus, the Premier Plus, or the Enterprise. And you also have the QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise. You can see on the screen here. So if you have one of those 3 products, no problem, you will qualify. How does the whole thing work? Let's talk about that. So in this show, folks, I'm still talking to you about a massive business loan from QuickBooks Capital, maximum loan amount $150,000, and FICO is very low, the minimum FICO. So the thing is that if you want to apply for this loan, you need to confirm your QuickBooks business records are up to date. This is very important for them because they really don't care about your business financials. If you don't want to apply for a loan, they're just giving you the tool to actually record and have records about your business, to record data, to record transactional data and have records about your business. But if you want to apply for a loan with them, now they're like, okay, this is getting serious now. We want to make sure that the data that you have in your QuickBooks is accurate. And so you have to apply right in QuickBooks. And let me ask you a question. Big decision time. If you are currently using QuickBooks, are your financial statements up to date? Are they accurate? Have you had a CPA or someone look over those data and be comfortable as to their accuracy and completeness? Talk to me. Because if not, you're not going to be approved. because QuickBooks, believe me, they are going to dissect each iota of your data. Okay, and so once everything checks out, they will actually fund you within 1 to 2 business days after you're approved, and you can save money with the weekly payments. Okay, you're not actually paying them on a monthly basis, you're paying them on a weekly basis. As a matter of fact, we're showing you on the screen right now, and this is a courtesy of QuickBooks Capital. They're showing you a comparison between weekly and monthly payments when you consider the total cost of business funding. Okay, you can see here that in their view, and based on our analysis also, paying on a weekly basis is just a lot more advantageous. The only thing is, does it mesh with your liquidity strategy? Because that means money's coming out of your business account every week as opposed to every month. So this may not be suitable for some businesses, but if that works for you, fantastic. One thing I want to say here is that if you need to, before you apply, I strongly recommend that you contact QuickBooks Capital. You want to call 1-800-300-0152, 1-800-300-0152 to ask more questions before even starting. Okay, this will help you a lot because they'll be able to answer all questions that you have before applying. What are the pros and cons of this QuickBooks Capital loan? Folks, in this show, I'm still having a conversation with you about a superb business loan from QuickBooks Capital. Maximum loan amount $150,000, minimum between $5,000 and $10,000. If you have a FICO that goes all the way to 525, you can qualify, not a problem. Okay, what are the pros and cons here? The pros: you have an easy application process, right? Because everything happens right from your QuickBooks dashboard. This is kind of similar to Stripe business loans or PayPal business loan, because they already have and some kind of inside information about your business. They have access to your transactional volume. They see the sales, all that kind of stuff. So the first advantage here is you have an easy application process. The typical time to funding, 1 to 2 business days. No origination fee, no prepayment penalty. And you have, again, a lender who is solid, who is reputationally solid. And yeah, so that's those are the pros. What about the cons, the disadvantages? This is only available to QuickBooks Online users and other QuickBooks users in general, okay? QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise or QuickBooks, yeah. So you got to be a QuickBooks user. And there is no long-term financing option available. If you remember, I was telling you that the maturity of the loan oscillates from 6 to 18 months. This is kind of short, especially if you have a business with a long cycle. 18 months is not really nothing. So this is something you need to think about. And based on our analysis, customer service is not really consistent for this particular service. They are really fast though. When you contact sales, and the number I just gave you originally, yeah, they're fast. But once you have the loan, it's not that easy to navigate. So QuickBooks, if you are QuickBooks Capital, if you're listening, please, you want to improve that aspect of things, the customer service. And another disadvantage is that financing is not available in some states. As of the date of this show, we have Nevada and Alaska, and some places in Hawaii. So it's always important to contact customer service before you actually apply. And there are some services. Overall, what I want to say here is that there are some services that are offered by QuickBooks Capital. So for example, one thing you need to know though, QuickBooks offers installment loans. So those are also called term loans. So these are loans that grant the borrower, a lump sum of cash. So in exchange, the borrower has to repay the amount borrowed, called the principal plus interest, within an agreed time frame. In this case, 6 to 18 months. Okay. So in the event that you're not eligible for a QuickBooks Capital loan, the company also provides a lending marketplace, what they call QuickBooks Capital Marketplace, through which you may qualify for financing from one of our QuickBooks financing partners. Okay, so QuickBooks will use information from your QuickBooks account to determine your eligibility for partner offers. Speaking about eligibility, let's talk about that now. So folks, we are still having a conversation about a huge business loan from QuickBooks Capital. we have a maximum loan amount $150,000, minimum $10,000 or $5,000. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Did you know that QuickBooks Capital borrower requirements vary from state to state? Now, depending upon your state, the requirements might be different, but overall, based on our analysis, there are a few qualifications. So time in business, 6 months of activity on a QuickBooks account, 6 months. So even if you are a brand new business with a relatively young operational history, you're good. Your personal credit score. So basically here, QuickBooks, they have said 620, but if you have solid sales, they could go as low as 525. Okay, so we're looking at 525 all the way to 620. Business revenue, $50,000 a year. That's gross income. That's gross income. And another thing I want to say here is that if you are a startup, let's say you've been in business for 6 months, you can actually extrapolate your how much revenue you have made in the first few months of the year. You can extrapolate that to 12 months. Okay, so for instance, if you, let's say you have made $30,000 in the you've been in business for 7 months, right? And you have made so far $70,000 in gross revenue. That's about $10,000 per month, right? So if you extrapolate that to 1 year, that will be $120,000, $120,000. That will be 10,000 times 12, right? So in addition to those requirements, you must be an active QuickBooks user. You must have primary business bank accounts connected to QuickBooks Online. They want you to connect your bank account. Okay, you can't be first of all, they're going to look at your financial statements. That's number one, right? They just want to ascertain that you're not playing, we're not fudging numbers here. No. And number two, they will check your business checking or savings account to make sure that everything ties nicely. And you also must have had no bankruptcies in the last 2 years. So for QuickBooks Capital, it's very important that you have a bankruptcy-free record in the last 2 years. Very important. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are also having a conversation about a massive business loan from QuickBooks Capital. Maximum loan amount, we have $150,000. Minimum FICO, 525. And this is a no personal guarantee. You can actually do this loan on an EIN only basis if you want to. Okay. And let me talk to you about the loan cost. And let's quickly, because this is something that a lot of viewers have asked about. And especially we also see a lot of confusion around this topic on forums such as Reddit, for example. People are kind of confused. So here are the terms and fees for QuickBooks Capital. So the borrowing amount will go from $5,000 to $150,000. The term length, 6 to 18 months. So you have half a year to 1 year and a half. The interest rates goes from 2.61% to 29.04%. Again, this is a wide range, and this is because the population of entrepreneurs upon which QuickBooks bases its research is pretty large. This is why you have such a wide range. There is no origination fee. I've said this before. The APR will oscillate from 9.99% to 34%. Remember that there is a difference between the interest rate and the APR, right? The APR includes other stuff like penalty fees, late fees, all that kind of stuff. And one thing I also want to say here is that QuickBooks Capital does not require collateral. They do not require, in certain cases, no, they do not require a personal guarantee. All right, they do not require that. One thing we have seen is that some industries are a little more, I would say, riskier from a QuickBooks Capital's perspective than others. So if you, let's say, they will not deny you. They will not deny your application if you are, let's say, in the cannabis industry. But if you're in the cannabis industry, because it is I would say from a regulatory perspective, it is a risky industry. QuickBooks Capital might ask for a personal guarantee on the loan if they approve you. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff you need to think about. And one thing I also want to say to close this section is that the APR and the interest rates are relatively lower. This is because QuickBooks Capital loans are originated directly through Intuit, QuickBooks parent company. So this is Intuit actually, I would say, flexing its balance sheet to provide you with the loans that you need, the proceeds that you need to boost your business. Speaking about Intuit and speaking about QuickBooks Capital, let's talk about the lender overview here. Folks, I'm still having a conversation with you about this massive loan from QuickBooks Capital, maximum loan amount $150,000, FICO as low as 525. So big decision time. Are you currently with QuickBooks Capital? Do you have a loan with them? Are you satisfied with the transparency of the fees, the customer service? What is your experience? Please just put it in the comment below. Just let us know what you feel. And what I want to say is that for us, at least for us, in terms of sales and advertising, we love the transparency that QuickBooks Capital has. They are very upfront. They tell you everything. They have a well-designed website with many details about their financing service. You can learn pretty much everything you need to know about the service on the QuickBooks Capital website. Although we had to, and you may have to do the same thing, click around the various FAQs to find the info you're looking for. And one thing that's very important here is that if you want to have more information, you want to go beyond what's currently on the website, you need to be a QuickBooks user. In terms of this lender, in terms of Intuit and QuickBooks in general, they have FAQs, but if you're not satisfied with the FAQs, you can call them. So they do offer phone support. And as I've said earlier, some of that support has been inconsistent at times. There is also a live chat feature that you can access directly from within QuickBooks Online, for example. Okay, something is very important. But at the end of the day, what I want to say here is that QuickBooks has never been known for their strong customer service, not at all. Their service is great. The quality of the products is great, but customer support, really, they could do better. Okay, they could really do better. And one thing we have seen, though, when you compare QuickBooks with QuickBooks Capital is that QuickBooks Capital's phone support team has much shorter wait times and more helpful representatives. Okay, and so this is something that you need to be aware of. Maybe it's because it's money related or business loans, so they want to really be they want to be very responsive, but time will tell. Let me talk to you now about the application process, folks. How do you apply for this massive business loan from QuickBooks Capital, maximum loan amount $150,000? Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Are you currently a QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Offline user? Have you applied or do you want to apply for a QuickBooks business loan? Talk to me. If that's the case, then you need to know that you have to log into your account. Unfortunately, I can't show this to you because we don't have a QuickBooks small business account, so we can't really go through the process with you. Even if we did, maybe the sales data would not have been proper for us to reveal that data here. But one thing I want to say here is that you can kick off the application process right from QuickBooks by visiting the Capital tab in your QuickBooks Online dashboard. Okay, so QuickBooks Capital uses information from QuickBooks Online to autofill the majority of the application. All you have to do is verify that the information is correct, and you only have to fill in any missing data. And most often, based on our analysis, you will not need to provide an additional set of documentations. No, you will typically hear back from QuickBooks Capital in 2 to 3 business days. The reason why things are so fast is because QuickBooks has a first row seat into your data. They host your data. They analyze your data every single day. So they know their system. They can actually analyze your data within minutes or within seconds. because everything is so related. They have financial ratios upon which they base their underwriting decision. And if you check all those algorithmic criteria, then you will qualify. QuickBooks Capital will only do a soft credit check, which will not affect your credit score. Okay, so this is something you need to understand. However, there may be a small impact on your business credit history when you apply for a loan. And if you are approved, you can choose from a range of borrowing amounts. After that, it will usually take 1 to 2 business days for funds to be deposited into your bank account. And if you're not approved by QuickBooks Capital, or you are looking for a different type of loan, such as a line of credit or an SBA loan, you can check, as I said earlier, QuickBooks has something called a QuickBooks Capital Marketplace. And from there, you can see what kind of vendors are interested, what kind of lending partners are interested in your business. Okay, so this is pretty much it. So bottom line here, this is a great option for existing QuickBooks users, including QuickBooks Online users looking for an easy application and fast funds. This is kind of similar to PayPal, as I said before, or similar to the payment processor Stripe Capital. Stripe also offers a similar product, but you have to do business with them. Thank you, folks. This is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about a massive business loan from QuickBooks Capital, $150,000. That's the maximum amount. And I'll give you an overview how the whole thing works, the pros and cons, eligibility requirements, the loan cost, the lender overview, and the application process. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.